welcome everybody. I was asked to do this statement speech, so thank you very much for that. I'm in Basel. I'm at the Teufelhof, which is, I think, the garden of the devil. That's what the name of the hotel. Yeah, don't know why. Well, anyway, I would like to share with you a number of thoughts about dance choreography that have been more than ever been going through my mind in this last very peculiar year. For me, the starting point of choreography has always been the body, the human body. And the different possible definition of choreography that I find is maybe the most valuable is that of embodied abstraction. For me, choreography is organizing movements in time and in space, and especially writing the space between people. And to explain what I mean about writing the space between people, I think we have to go back and look at the origin, the etymology of the word choreography. Choreography is a fusion of two Greek words. On the one hand, choreo and graphen. Graphen means writing, and choreos means the choir of the troupe, the people. So in this sense, the etymology of choreography is a question of how to organize a multitude, how to write the people, how to organize the time and space that exists between a group of people. This also for me means in the same time that there is latent politics to dancing by insisting that people undertake movements together, that people are organized in time and space. I believe that choreographers are posing acts that are potentially political. Of course, however, what we see during these times of the pandemic is a very peculiar kind of choreography. We are the multitude, and we are carefully performing a choreography of sanitary procedures. In this choreography, we see distance between bodies, a lack of touch, rituals of entering and exiting. And this choreography is even specified even down to the costumes we wear, our masks. And just as a dancer knows when they are performing that they must fully commit to what's at stake on the stage, we have taken on this choreography with care and urgency because we know that our participation is important. Nonetheless, I do find myself asking, what is the place of dance in this current daily choreography? Where did our dancing go? One of the most confusing things I experienced in the last months is that in this crisis, we are suddenly confronted with mistrust of the body. Mistrust of the bodies of others, but even mistrust of our own bodies, the houses in which we live. We don't know what's happening inside ourselves, and we then depend completely on the knowledge of doctors, scientists, and politicians who lead us. We are worried about the proximity to others. We worry about touch. We worry about being surrounded by community. We worry about sharing breath. And unfortunately, these things, proximity, touch, community, and breath, are all essential to the DNA of dance. This crisis hits not only our practice, but who we are. Dance is essentially sharing an experience. Dance is about a community. And I'd like to return for a moment to the etymology of choreography. When we look at the word choreo, and what its original meaning was in the ancient Greek tragedy, we understand that the choir was not only the spectator to the tragedy, but most importantly, it was a commentator of the group who judged from an objective third-person standpoint on the troubles of the protagonists. This means that the choir has a deeply critical function. It manages to see through the illusions of the great heroes or the leaders. I'm thinking about what we can see from this third-person standpoint in the choir and what illusions we see through. Can we see the more pertinent and underlying issues of this pandemic that continue to be ignored, namely the way we have come to treat our bodies and the way that in dancing maybe one of our most important partners, it's the earth. Although crucial in this instant, perhaps this mass choreography of the pandemic takes our focus away from the long-term issues on our hands. I also wonder, as artists, what other approaches can be seen. After all, dancing is one of the most sustainable, ecological, aesthetical, and also ethical activities imaginable. It won't run out, it doesn't necessarily need any resources, because it's in you and everybody can dance. Essential. Essential has become a daily word. We understand food and we understand that air as essential, and we decide which shops are essential. I also believe that dance is essential. It was Nietzsche who said, and we should consider every day lost on which we have not danced at least once. On the genealogy of morals, Nietzsche says that the affirmation of life needs to be realized through bodily practices, which help to bring out the creativity of our senses and minds, and that are capable, what they are capable of. Dance is a bodily practice. He says that by engaging in practices like dance, we gain the sensory awareness that we need to be able to discern whether the values we create within society and the movements we make out in the world are good to yourself, to each other, but also to the earth. That's why he said, I do not know what the spirit of a philosopher could more wish than to be a good dancer. For dance is his ideal, also his fine art. Finally, also the only kind of piety he knows, his divine service. Important questions to ask at the moment are, how do we find a way to continue dancing under these circumstances? And can we find a way for dance to help in this time? I've been wondering about the healing aspect of dance. Asclepius, the Greek god of medicine, was worshipped in the Asclepian temple of the ancient Greece, the most celebrated of which was the Asclepieion of Epidaurus. These were healing centers where included spiritual healing and a focus on both healthy lifestyle, diet, fitness, but also music, dance, and theater in their medicinal practices. Health is so much more than the absence of sickness and is so much more than medicine. It is what we eat, it's how we care for our bodies. It's not only healing the body, but creating a healthy environment for it to thrive in. In the early 80s, I once heard Meredith Monk speaking about the healing aspect of dance. She thinks that healing is not only the dancing or the singing or in the performing, but also in the making of art itself. And this is a process of an interaction between what goes on inside the body with what is outside the body. In the end, this interaction between the body's internal and external space is all about air, breath. In 2015, I was working on a piece which I called My Breathing is My Dancing. It was a part of a research on what I could consider to be my dancing and where I could generate movement from. I thought about my breathing as my dancing, like my walking is my dancing, my talking is my dancing. What is important about breath, what we speak about this year so much, is that it is literally and symbolically life. I would say that if choreography is about writing the space between people, it's about how that space exists because of breath. This means that choreography is about looking at how space breathes. Considering the place of dance in our world is important these days, not only in terms of how to maintain it and keep it moving through all of the restrictions and cancellations, but also in terms of what we can learn from dance. The breadth of dance, the capacity it has to be self-sufficient, and also the communal and nature of dancing. And this brings me to the end and also to the point I would like to round off with today. At the opening of this current school year at Parts, where the students came back after months of confinement and lockdown, and with a lot of hope and a lot of despair in their eyes, I spoke to the students and I started with the following question: what the future will bring us? And especially to those of us who communicate in the world through the medium of dance. What I shared with the students is that I really do believe that the most important thing today is support. And again, what is support? The definition of support, it's carrying from underneath. It is something that we constantly do in our practice when we dance together. Carrying each other, supporting each other in their way, defying gravity. Let's help each other, let's inspire each other, let's find a way to figure out how this unknown situation can lead to new solutions and to new ways of communicating. And I think this takes a willingness to look at your internal compass and to check out with yourself what's going on with yourself and with yourself in the relationship to the other. One of the big problems that the rules we are faced with now mean that it is as if we are constantly dancing on moving sand. It changes it has been changing every month, every week. And as a community of people for whom dance, the performing arts and the arts are important, I really do think that we consciously have to help each other by finding ways to manage that moving sand. It's vital that we should be trying through elegant ways of respecting and sharing to take care of the dancing and the world we dance in. Respecting it, but at the same time, not letting us become static and passive. Organizing movement on a vertical and on a horizontal level. Let's stay with our feet in the ground. Let's take care of the earth, and let's, on a horizontal level, let's reach to each other. Let's support each other. I think it's also, finally, last note, let's try to keep a sense of humor with it. We are dancers. That means we should be flexible and we should be able to jump. We should be resilient. We should be flexible and resilient in our bodies and in our minds. And as Spinoza said, we do not even know what the body is capable of. Let's stay together. Let's stay together. Let's support each other. Let's support each other in these unknown times.